Good morning, everybody. It's Jeremiah CSAP Westbrook, your common sense American patriot, today with our daily podcast YouTube show, Common Sense Politics Show. How's everybody doing today? I'm having a pretty good day so far. Can't complain. And there's been some pretty good news stories out today, so I'm going to touch base on 3 good news stories that came out. Well, 2 good, 1 goofy. So first off, we're going to talk about the wall. The wall is getting built. We're going to talk about Walmart and their new policies. And then we're going to talk about Hong Kong and what is going on in Hong Kong. So stick with me and we're going to go over all that right now.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you. Ask what you can do for your country.
I am a real American.
Okay, guys, so let's start off on a very, very good story that just broke yesterday. So I'm going to pull it up here for us, and we're going to go over it. Here we are. The Pentagon announces it will halt 127 projects in order to raise $3.6 billion for the border. We're going to build that wall. The Pentagon announced on Tuesday that it will divert $3.6 billion in funds from existing projects in the wake of Trump's emergency declaration to replace and expand existing fencing along the U.S.-Mexico border. So that news broke yesterday, which is amazing. So we are building the wall. Trump, promises made, promises kept. He is diverting funds, and we are going to get this wall. And I'm sure 127 projects that he's talking about are probably a bunch of pork funds that have been stuck into these massive bills, these spending bills. So cut a bunch of projects that probably don't even need to be built or done. And now we're building something that needs to be done, which is build the wall, fix this illegal immigration problem. If you're really paying attention, Trump is doing an amazing job at this. He is chipping away slowly but surely at all these different things that deal with the border. All the asylum seekers, it's all changed. The border separation policy has changed. He's building the wall. This man has not stopped on this subject at all. With all the opposition he's faced, nonstop opposition, he's been slowly chipping away at this whole border crisis. And that's exactly what it is. It's a border crisis. Do we need immigration in this country? Of course, immigration is a good thing in this country. However, it needs to be legal, and we need to have full control over it. So this is a great thing. So I wanted to start off today on a great news story that we are getting that wall built. So let's get moving on to the next story. Now, the next story is a bit more disappointing than obviously getting the wall built. So here we go. Let's start here with Walmart. Walmart says Tuesday it will discontinue all sales of short barrel rifle ammunition that can be used with military style weapons, discontinue sales of handgun ammunition, and stop handgun sales in Alaska. Okay, and let's continue with the article here, and we'll talk a little bit more about it. The retailer is calling on the government to do more in the wake of a larger wave of mass shootings across the country, including one as recently as this weekend in Odessa, Texas. Walmart is also asking current customers in Sam's Club to no longer openly carry firearms in stores in states where open carry is allowed unless they are authorized law enforcement officers. Okay, so let's talk about this here a little bit. There's quite a few things we can talk about when it comes to this open carrying and stop. They're no longer selling ammunition. This is not good, if you ask me. This is just another infringement, and this is pandering to the larger crowd of just screaming, ranting liberals that want guns banned in this country. That's never, ever, ever going to happen. This country was founded on guns. This country was founded on fighting back against the government and big government through guns. And that's exactly why the Second Amendment is here. It's not to hunt. It's not to hunt deer. And it's not to hunt doves. It's for the government to be scared of the people. Bundy and Bundy Ranch, that's a great example of what's going on and why we have guns. They were trying to confiscate his land, essentially, the BLM. And patriots stood up against the government with their guns. So again, the Second Amendment is always going to be here in this country. It's not going anywhere. It never is. So look what happened to Dick's Sporting Goods when they announced their new gun policy. They're talking about closing like something like 37 stores. Again, this is just catering and pandering to a stupid thing. Like, if you are a business, you need to be like politically free. Like, because all you're going to do is make one side or the other angry at you, and you're going to lose customers. When you have to close 37 stores, guess who you're hurting at the end of the day? You're hurting your employees. You're hurting American workers because you're no longer going to sell something and you're going to cater to one side or the other. Look at the NFL. Look how much money the NFL has absolutely lost because they're allowing these knuckleheads to kneel for the national anthem, which makes absolutely no sense. And that's a topic for another day. But look at the millions of dollars they have lost in revenue because they allow this stuff to go on, this political activism stuff. It's insane. Most of the country, if you're a retailer, just sell your product. Don't get involved in all this. So let's talk a little bit more about that. They don't want people to open carry, and it's in the wake of all these mass shootings. Here's the funny thing. Nobody's talking about the real mass shootings that are going on. Chicago has mass shootings every single weekend, but nobody talks about it. There was a mass shooting in Alabama about a week ago at a high school football game. Nobody talks about it. It's not on the news anywhere. And why is that? Because it doesn't fit the narrative of the propaganda machine, the MSN. The mainstream media just lies to you. They distort the facts. They're hyperbolic about all these different things. Yes, mass shootings are happening. And they want to talk about, they want better background checks and all these other things. This latest shooter, he got denied his guns. These guys are going to find guns any way they can. But all these topics about background checks and we need stricter laws. The laws are already strict. All these people are breaking laws every time they're doing this. So it's not that. What, again, have I talked about many times here on this show? The root of the problem is mental illness in this country, and we are not helping the mentally ill. That's the root of the problem. The root of the problem is the person. It's not the gun. It's the person. That is the root of the problem. And that's what we seem to always forget here in this country, is we want to talk about, the superficial problem. The gun is the tool that was used to perpetrate these crimes. But at the end of the day, it's not the root of the problem. That's where we miss on a large scale in this country, is we're not talking about the root of the problems here. Let's move on to the next part here. We got Kroger. Kroger is following suit. Not so much, because they don't really sell guns. They're a grocery chain. But Kroger asked customers to quit openly carrying guns in stores. And a little bit of a statement here. Kroger is respectfully asking the customers to no longer open carry firearms into our stores other than authorized law enforcement officers. So they're completely parroting what Walmart just said. We are also joining those encouraging our elected leaders to pass laws that will strengthen background checks and remove weapons from those who have been found to pose a risk for violence. Okay, I really, really want to touch base on that last sentence there, that whole part. We are also joining those encouraging our elected leaders to pass laws. The laws are already there, just like this most recent mass shooting in Texas. He was denied a gun. He wasn't sold a gun because he didn't pass the background check. So we already have laws in place. Just like I said on my show yesterday, good old Katie Hill, my elected representative, is talking about retweeting David Hogg, who's absolutely just a goofball, doesn't even know what he's talking about, saying that it's easier to get an AR-15 than it is to vote. That's the most asinine comment in the world. It's a giant pain in the ass to get a gun. There's waiting periods. You got to go through a background check. Fine. And I don't even mind even more stringent background checks. That's fine by me. I don't have any problems by that because a law-abiding citizen like myself, I'm not going to have any problems. It's a pain in the butt, but I will get my gun eventually because I'm a law-abiding citizen. I don't have any problems with that. Here's where it gets really kooky, though. When they talk about and remove the weapons from those who have been found to pose a risk. Again, why are we just going to take the tool away from these people that are mentally ill? We're superficial here. We're not talking about the root of the problem. If this person poses a risk, why are we going to take a tool away from them? Why don't we get this person the help they need instead of just, we're going to take the gun away? He can still build a pipe bomb. Look at the Unabomber building pipe bombs because he was mentally deranged. Look at Timothy McVeigh in the Oklahoma City bombing. He built a bomb. So it's just the tools that are used. It's the root of the problem that we're not talking about. We don't need to be going and taking people's guns away. We need to go be taking care of these people, getting them the help they need. If they're obviously opposed, if they're a risk, obviously there's so much of a risk that, we better take the gun away from them. We should probably help this guy in any way, shape, or form. We probably need to get this guy some medical treatment. Because if he's that unstable that you're going to take his personal property from him, then we should probably be taking steps to get this guy some help. The root of the problem. Just look at London. They don't have guns, but they have a giant knife problem in London because the root of the problem is the people. It's the tool. You could have any tool in the world that's going to cause harm, and they're going to do it. You take away knives, they're going to go to bats and crowbars. If you take away bats and crowbars, they're going to start building pipe bombs. It's nonstop. It doesn't matter. We need to help the people, not the tool. So that's why all these red flag laws are just garbage. And you got Beto out there talking about, I'm going to take away all semi-automatic weapons. Listen, man, that's not going to happen in this country. Let's talk about helping the people that need the help, not taking away a tool. That's all these things are. People are going to cause harm any way they can. You can take a truck. Are we going to take all trucks because people are running people over in the streets? No, because that's illogical. Why would we take cars away? Because 99.999% of vehicle users don't run people over with their car. Same with gun ownership. 99.99999% of gun owners don't go around shooting people because that's illogical. It's the people. It's not the tool. It's not the vehicle. It's not the knives. It's not the guns. It's the people. And that's what we need to talk about. I don't know how to get this message out there anymore, but I talk about it almost on every other show. Something about mental illness. We need to take care of that in this country. We have let that slip since the 1980s, and we haven't addressed it. And if you look at kind of where we've gone from the 1980s. Homeless is erupted. It's everywhere. We have mental illness problems everywhere because we're not treating the root of the problem. Okay, so let's move on to the next story that I want to talk about today, which is Hong Kong. Hong Kong has had these massive riots, I believe going on for a couple months now. And it's all just a quick recap. I talked about it in one of my other podcasts, but it's pretty much over an extradition bill for China. China is pretty much just taken away a lot of their civil rights and liberties. They've been just infringing more and more on Hong Kong and taking things away. So the big thing that really caused these riots was an extradition bill where China could come in and extradite Hong Kong citizens, and bring them into China and prosecute them if they talk bad about China. So this would be like Mexico signing in a law saying like, yeah, the U.S. can come down here and snatch any one of our civilians anytime and bring them back to America to prosecute them. Or the U.S. signing a law saying, yeah, the Canadian government can come into America and take our citizens and take them back to Canada and prosecute them without any legal actions. Like now there's recourse. We got to present it to a judge, talk to Mexico or Canada and ask that we want to go get this guy for whatever loss. This was different. This was like China just pretty much Hong Kong was going to sign a bill to give China free reign to come pick off their citizens and take them back to China to prosecute them. So that's the quick recap on what is going on in China and Hong Kong and why the protests are going out. So here we go. Today's great news. Hong Kong's Carrie Lam formally withdraws the extradition bill. So that is a win for the protesters. That's what started the whole thing. So this bill is dead. So Hong Kong has killed the bill that will allow China to come in there and essentially just snag their citizens, take them into China, and then prosecute them for going against the communist Chinese government. But is that where it's going to end? I'm not sure, because now this is going to be the segue into the next thing. So the Hong Kong people want democracy. They want less government infringement from China. So here's a great post from my race baiting friend here. sarcasm. Shaun King, this guy is the biggest race baiter out there. I sometimes I wish like I was a leftist because I could just say the most outlandish things, make up things, and I would get 1 million followers in 2 seconds. However, being on the right, I got to present all the facts, and if I even make a mistake, which I'm glad the right does, I get called out for it massively. And thank you. I appreciate being called out if I get something wrong because I want to present the facts, unlike the news where they lie to you and mislead you. But good old Shaun King here. Look at this knucklehead on the 18th of August. So it's kind of an old post from him. But 1.8 million people packing the streets of Hong Kong today to protest their government. This is what the United States should look like. Talking about not knowing what you're talking about. That's good old Shaun King there. Does he not realize these people want to be like America? He's hoping he obviously didn't know the facts that Hong Kong's out there protesting their government. Yeah, because they're protesting their infringement of the government. Same thing like what our government is trying to do when we're talking about infringing on our Second Amendment and free speech rights. So let me give some examples here, Mr. Shaun King, of Hong Kong and what you have no idea what you're talking about. Hong Kong protesters waved the U.S. flags, urged Trump to take action. American flags in Hong Kong. How about that, Shaun King? You want those protesters out there? I do. I love American flag waving protesters. Here, I got another one for you, Shaun King. Here we go. We got a quick one right here. We got... They're out there singing the national anthem. Hong Kong protesters. How about that, Shaun King? How do you like them apples? So it just shows you. I just want to blow up Shaun King because he's just a race-baiting, despicable person. And he obviously, there you go, that he doesn't know the facts. He just saw a bunch of people protesting their government. He probably didn't even have any idea about the extradition bill that was allowing other countries to come in and just pick off their civilians, their citizens, and go and prosecute them in another country. How about that, Shaun King? You want to be just picked up by Canada? They'll come in here and swipe you up and take you to Canada and prosecute you for whatever laws they deem you have broken? What do you think about that, Shaun King? You probably don't even care. Oh, and here's another one, Shaun King. Hong Kong getting all 1776. Give me liberty or give me death. How about that, Shaun King? They are mimicking American and American values. They want what we have, what you hate, what the progressives left in this country hate. They want it. But I'm so glad you promoted that you wish we would stand up here in this country like they are, because that's exactly what they want. They want what we have in this country. Shaun King, race-baiting, progressive leftist, American-hating citizen. You can leave. You don't got to stay here. I say that all the time. If you do not like this country, leave. I don't see anybody leaving. I hear them all the time chirping, saying they're going to leave, but you don't leave. You're a hypocrite. You don't even know what you're talking about. You're a race baiter, and it drives me absolutely crazy. Progressive leftists, you're nuts. You're absolutely nuts. This is the greatest country on earth. I have no words for you. The people in the middle, the moderates, the people that lean left, listen, we need to come together and really start having real conversations in this country. We need to start talking about the root of the problems in this country. Not the superficial things, not the tools, not the gun. We need to start talking about the actual people and what are causing these problems. And until we actually can sit down and talk and not have race baiters like Shaun King and the propagandist machine, the mainstream media, we're never going to get anywhere in this country. So that's all I got for you guys today. I appreciate your support. Check me out on my Spotify. I'm on Spotify and iTunes for my for this podcast. Also, you can check me out on YouTube. And that's all I got for you guys today, and I'll be looking forward to talking to you guys tomorrow. But I want to leave you on that note. Let's start thinking about how we can actually come together and talk to each other, because until we start talking to each other, nothing's going to get solved in this country, and the divisiveness in this country is just going to get farther. Let the far right extremists, which there's a few far right extremists out there, and Donald Trump is actually not one of them, and there's the progressive far lefts. It's going to keep getting farther and farther until us in the middle learn to come together and talk to each other and talk about the real true problems in this country. So anyhow, I'll talk to you guys later. I love you guys, and I love this country. Talk to you tomorrow. Thank you for watching my show today. If you've missed any other episodes, you can check them out right there. You can also follow me on Facebook, or you can follow me right there on Twitter. Share me and help me get my reach as far as we can, because we are gonna keep America great.